It is quite natural that we begin our study of lexical stylistic devices with metaphor, since it is usually regarded as a central trope. It has come to mean different things to different people, so much that specialists in the area are often temporarily confounded when asked for a definition of metaphor. Some people think of metaphors as nothing more than the sweet stuff of songs and poems. Love is a jewel, or a rose, or a butterfly. But in fact, all of us speak and write and think in metaphors every day. They can't be avoided. Metaphors are built right into our language. According to José Ortega y Gasset, metaphor is probably the most fertile power possessed by man. It is a Greek word meaning to transfer or carry across. Indeed, metaphors carry meaning from one word, image, or idea to another. According to McGlone, metaphor challenges definition for at least two reasons. First, the term is used in several different, albeit related senses. Second, both within and between its different senses, definitions vary to reflect sharply different theoretical agendas and assumptions. Sometimes the theoretical boundaries coincide with scholarly disciplines. Thus, philosophers, linguists, and psychologists might each define metaphor in their own terms. Once an esteemed stylistician, Ray Gibbs, was asked why he was flying to Tel Aviv. Gibbs replied that he had been invited to a conference on metaphor. The interviewer asked, "What's a metaphor?" When Gibbs hesitated, momentarily at a loss for words, the interviewer asked sharply, "You're going to a metaphor conference and you don't even know what a metaphor is?" Consternated Professor Gibbs was thereupon hustled away by security guards and interrogated for almost an hour. So what is a metaphor after all? Metaphor is most frequently used and at the same time most elaborated stylistic device. Dictionary entries for the term metaphor provide illustrative examples of how metaphor can be variously defined. The two major senses of the term are captured in the Oxford English Dictionary. The first sense identifies metaphor as a type of language, a figure of speech in which a name or a descriptive word or phrase is transferred to an object or action different from, but analogous to, that to which it is literally applicable. An instance of this is a metaphorical expression. Thus, metaphor is language that directly compares seemingly unrelated subjects. It is a figure of speech that compares two or more things not using like or as. In the simplest case, this takes the form: the first subject is a second subject. More generally, a metaphor is a rhetorical trope that describes a first subject as being or equal to a second object in some way. Thus, the first subject can be economically described because implicit and explicit attributes from the second subject are used to enhance the description of the first. This device is known for usage in literature, especially in poetry, where with few words, emotions and associations from one context are associated with objects and entities in a different context. In a simpler definition, it is comparing two things without using the words like or as. The second sense identifies metaphor as a form of conceptual representation, a thing considered as representative of some other, usually abstract thing, a symbol. The metaphor, according to Richards in the Philosophy of Rhetoric, consists of two parts, the tenor and vehicle. The tenor is a subject to which attributes are ascribed. The vehicle is a subject from which the attributes are borrowed. Other writers employ the general terms ground and figure to denote what Richards identifies as a tenor and vehicle. Consider the following words by William Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances. In this example, the world is compared to a stage, the aim being to describe the world by taking well-known attributes from the stage. In this case, the world is a tenor and the stage is a vehicle. Or consider the following simple examples. My love is a violet. So my love is tenor, is a coupling verb, violet, vehicle. So this is a conventional model for the metaphor. It is called subject-object metaphor. We have a tenor or central subject that is described or carried by the vehicle. The basic metaphor is a correspondence such that A is B, whereas the basic simile is a correspondence such that A is like B.